So yeah, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned you haven't left LA in a year, and I know you and the family have been really cautious during COVID. What do you think California has gotten right, and what do you think they've gotten wrong in this COVID pandemic?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's like such a difference depending on your socioeconomic bracket, essentially. Like, I walk around Mount Washington like every day, I'm always hiking around Mount Washington, and I talk to neighbors every day, and it's like everyone's vaccinated. Everyone's in the middle of being vaccinated, has an appointment set up. But that's because we're in a privileged place where most people work from home. And that's what's so ironic too, right? It's like people in Mount Washington work from home for the most part and don't need to be vaccinated. We're not, I mean, some people are doctors and nurses or whatever and work, with a lot of people, but in general, like, what do I think California has gotten right? Well, at the very beginning of the pandemic, I just was seeing like Facebook posts that I posted like a year ago that were like about how great California was doing and how we were like, because we were all buckling down and like really staying at home and no one was going anywhere. And the numbers we were going to, whatever, dip the curve or
flatten the curve. Yeah.
And then, then around Christmas, like things just started to get crazy. I mean, I don't know. I think it's like a real problem and a lot of pressure from the business community and, like from an economic standpoint for politicians to shut down stuff, like to really just shut it down. They just feel that they can't, they're in the pocket of a lot of corporations and those people don't want businesses to be shut down. And that's like a lot of pressure. But in some ways, if we had, and I don't know, I mean, a lot of European countries did do that and they're in a worse position than we are now. So yeah, I think the rollout in general of, the messaging, I mean, from the federal government, from Trump and the Trump administration was horrific. Like the messaging was just poor. It was like, he never wore a mask. You don't have to wear a mask. Like, you can get these medications. I got them. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Everything's cool. We have it under control. Instead of being like, like a massive like PR campaign about wearing masks, about how to be safe. And I know that like a lot of that was not, we didn't know a lot. Right. But some kind of messaging, like plan, communications plan. So I don't know. I mean, I think we are doing a pretty good job of vaccinating people. It seems like it. My cleaning lady was at my house yesterday. She has an appointment for next week, which is great. And now I think every adult can get vaccinated in Los Angeles.
Yeah, as of a day ago or 2 days ago or something. Yeah.
Which is great. And it makes me feel like a huge sense of relief. The kids are finally going to go back to school, some form. But it's just, and I think, we are in a fortunate place because we can be outside all year round. Yeah. We can eat outside. We can have things outside, which makes it a lot safer. And, you're sort of like threading the needle with businesses and corporations and the economy and, also trying to be as safe as possible and also trying to tackle like issues of, isolation and all of that. We could have done a better job at that, I think. I think there was like a little bit of like wishy-washiness, like, restaurants should have probably been open outside, if we had like some sort of basis of safety standards. I mean, I think that's part of the issue is that like the science has been very unclear because they're still studying the virus. Right. They were for the whole year. So it's just like, well, is that safe? Is that not safe? Is 6 feet safe? Is 3 feet safe? Like, what should we do? We don't know. Yeah. Let's just close it all down. So
I just remember them for like months. It was like, well, can the virus live on a surface or not? And it's like, dude, I barely made it out of high school, okay? I barely passed chemistry, but I'm pretty sure there's some really smart people that can put a virus on a table and determine whether it's still alive 30 seconds later or not. I'm like, how is this science not settled?
They did, but like, it was more about, I guess, I don't know. I agree with you. Like, I don't, and I think part of that is like a top-down thing that was just like a total shit show, right? Like, we had no authoritative like body nobody was trusting the CDC or the WHO. Like it's like, you know, everything is, we don't have, this is another problem with our society and our country, is that we don't have a sense of like, who's in charge anymore. There's like, media's fake. All the things that they report are fake. Like, these conspiracy theories are real. Like, you know,
I mean, it has been a pretty
Biden's not our president. Like,
it has been a pretty good 24 months for conspiracy theorists.
Oh,
like,
yes.
I mean, the problem is,
yes,
the problem is every once in a while they come true and you're like, see, there was a government operative who was smuggling 14-year-old girls to a private island to have sex with billionaires. And you're like, that sounds like something out of a Tom Clancy movie. You're like, nope, really happened.
Yeah.
And then he died in prison under weird terms. And it's like, you know, it only takes one of those to make the crazies be like, see, there's the proof that all this other crazy shit I've been talking about is real.
That's what the QAnon documentary talks about.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it's like how, like, yes, when you spew out enough shit, a couple of them are going to land.
Right.
And then, you know, then you can say, oh, look.
Yeah,
he was right.
Proof. Right. Yeah, it's a weird time. But how have you been dealing, you know, just on a personal level? Like, your kids are in a very developmental stage, and I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, who I won't use their name because they might be embarrassed, and they're like, yeah, my, you know, 9 or 10-year-old who's in 4th or 5th grade, they're back to school 2 days a week, and he had like a legit 2-hour mental breakdown, just crying and saying, mommy, you know, it's so easy we're in school to focus. I can't look at Zoom. I'm a failure. Why can't we just go back to school full time? And obviously, like, this sad situation is like supporting the narrative in my mind that like kids should be back at school. So I'm kind of clinging on to it. But like to hear that there's a 9-year-old having a full on panic attack mental breakdown, like, I almost feel like in some areas,
that's like times a million in this country, probably. I mean, you know, it's like on a massive scale.